All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Purls and Pyrs podcast. I am your host, Nina, otherwise known as Ine on Ravelry, Instagram, Pinterest, any other social media. That's usually my username. To all new viewers, thank you so much for checking me out. To all returning reviewers, thanks so much for coming back. I appreciate every one of you. It's a little bit bright, so sorry if I'm squinting, so I'm kind of looking at the windows. And we're back in this is my sitting space, so I'm kind of surrounded by crafts. But if I go the other way, I'll be backlit and it'll be weird. So no green velvet chair today. So I think it's been 2 weeks since I podcast. My intention actually today was to do my taxes, but I messed up when I bought my TurboTax at Costco, and apparently the cashier was supposed to give me it in exchange for the thing that you take up to the counter, and we packed all our groceries into our cart, and I went and grabbed the thing, and they hadn't yet exchanged it, and they didn't stop me, so now I don't have my software, but I paid for it. So we're going to go to the customer service desk today and see what we can do about it. I'm sure it'll be fine. But we have a trash can to return to because we bought a trash can to try to keep Hubble out of the trash, and it is too tall for the space where we keep our kitchen trash can. So the top of it, the lid, would hit the counter that it's supposed to go under, which would annoy us. Sorry, Ada just walked by and decided to shake while she was in front of me. Okay. She's thinking about getting on the couch. You want to get up there, Bee? Get up. Okay. She has to be invited. She is vampire. So there she is. See, she's fine. For all the Ada fans out there, she's totally fine. She just doesn't always want to be part of the shenanigans. But today she does want to be part of the shenanigans. Anyway, so it has been a busy couple of weeks with work and stuff. So I have a colleague visiting from the UK who's helping out with a bunch of stuff. And so I've been trying to be in the office as much as I can be. My camera got really dim all of a sudden. And I'm also going to mute just so that it doesn't notify me of things. Okay, just in cases. Anyway, she was kind enough to bring me some things from the UK. She asked me what I might like, and I said Skittles because they have blackcurrant instead of grape Skittles, and they're so much better. So much better. So she brought 2 bags of Skittles. I had maybe like a little handful of them, and then the kids ate the rest of them. And she also brought me my cream egg tea from Bird and Blend, which someone asked me about that in the comments of the last podcast, and I hadn't yet responded. But yes, I do still drink cream egg tea, and I had just gone through the last of it because last year I couldn't afford to buy it. That was when I was unemployed, and they only sell it during kind of the lead up to Easter. So I had to forego buying it last year. However, I did have enough to kind of drink it periodically here and there until this year. And so she brought me some more, and she said that she will get me the larger bag and then bring it next time she comes to the office, which is totally fine with me. And I might have her get the bunny hop as well, which is a new flavor. I think they brought it out last year. It's got cocoa nibs and like these little tiny marshmallows in it. It sounds really good. So I'm sure I'll enjoy it. I'm just drinking coffee right now. And I will try to edit that out if I remember. I don't always remember. What I'm wearing today. This is the Salty Air DK by Samantha Guerin Designs. I knit it out of Pole DK from Plies and Hellhounds in the Alentia colorway. And I had special ordered it after she had this in her Advent 2018 Advent or something like that. It was the Throne of Glass Advent. And then she had all the colorways afterwards that you could special order. It's a little bit similar to the colorway she came out with for Flock last year, and I got it in fingering weight. So I'm excited to make that into a sweater too. Anyway, so yeah, this week in terms of things to share, I have one finished object. I've been working on a couple of different things, and I have a new cast on, and yeah, I think that's it, because I don't have any acquisitions to share. I'm sort of waiting on the new Stardew Valley collection that Chromatic Yarns is going to bring out. I think she said she's going to do the ones she already had in the collection last year. Was it last year or 2 years ago? But she's taking out some of the colorways because it was a lot of blue. It was a lot of blue. I'm really hoping she dyes a Void Mayonnaise color, because I think she would do an amazing job with it, because it's like this garishly colored, like bright pink and orange. Or no, Strange Bun. Strange Bun is what I was thinking of, not Void Mayonnaise. Strange Bun. Because that's kind of like pink and orange, and it's weird, and it's like a thing that Shane likes in Stardew Valley, and he sends you the recipe for it if you become friends with him. So anyway, we'll see if she makes a Strange Bun colorway, but I think she'd be really good at it if she did. Okay, so let's get this right along. Because, like I said, I had all my stuff ready to do taxes, and then I couldn't do taxes. So I was like, all right, I'm going to record a podcast while they're gone at Joshua's class. And then when they come back, we have to go to Costco and deal with the chicanery. So my one and only finished object, which I have worn these because I tried to finish them for St. Patrick's Day. They are the Pot of Gold yarn from the Cozy Knitter. This is the sock set, and I got these last year, I think, after St. Patrick's Day. When I was able to get my job, I rewarded myself by buying this sock set. My friend Jessica had sent me a little mini that I put into my blanket, and I really wanted some socks out of it, so I did it when she had them in her shop. So anyway, I just did a vanilla sock pattern. Nothing super spectacular there. It's a 64 stitch sock, heel flap and gusset, wedge toe. Ta-da! I really love them though. They're so cute. So I think I knit from the outside of the ball because I wanted the rainbows to go, you know, down the leg in the order you would see a rainbow, not the other way. Yeah, there's not really much else to say about them. I didn't have a lot of yarn left over. Don't know what I'm going to do with that yarn. It's not enough for shorty socks. Maybe. Maybe it is if I do the same contrasting heel toe. I don't know. Maybe it'll just go in my leftovers bin, and someday the project will come to me. Anyway, that is my one and only finished object for this week. Because I freed up my sock needles, I put these back on the needles. So I had cast on, I was kind of starting to try to go through some of my older self-striping stash. I think I cast these on last year, but I want to kind of, you know, be regularly rotating my stash. So I don't want things to sit like deep in the bin. And I have a bin of self-striping sock yarn. It's kind of a combination of mostly Felici. There's some Patton's Croy in there. There's, what was it? Vanna's Choice or something. There's Lion brand sock yarn. Stuff that I got at Joann's, right? Because they had a pretty good selection of stuff back in the day when they existed. Anyway, this was sent to me as part of a gift from a viewer in Texas. She sent me this, and then she like illustrated a tote bag for me that has like a TARDIS with yarn balls spilling out of it. It's super cute. So it is Cascade Yarns Heritage Prints. And the colorway is not on here. It's color number 40. So there you go. I don't know if this is a yarn that's still made. I mean, Cascade Yarns is obviously still around, but I don't know if they make this particular yarn anymore. I've had it in my stash for quite a while. It was before we moved to Connecticut, so at least 8 years. Wow, that sun is bright. I can't even see what I'm showing you. That's okay. I'll just try to look at the camera as much as I can. So here's what I have going so far. I put a cute little charm from Charmed and Dangerous on there because I thought it matched the knitting. You know, it's got the blue and the purple and the white. Yeah, I like this striping pattern. I think it's cute. So yeah, just doing a basic 64 stitch sock. I made the cuff a little longer, so I got a full almost repeat of the colors. I didn't get to the purple, but I just wanted to stop it on that like white stripe so it'd give a nice clean line. So I think there's maybe 20 or 24 rows of ribbing. Yeah, that's what I've got so far on that baby sock that I'm dropping. So that's fun. And do I have these on a sock needle? I do. Okay. I also had another pair of sock needles free, so I put these back on the needles. This is a yarn I got in a D-stash from Bailey. I don't remember the name of the yarn dyer, but it's Under the Mountain, so it's supposed to be a Lord of the Rings reference. And I started this when I think Lindsay from Sock Witchery was hosting a Lord of the Rings knit along, but it might not be her. It's basically around like Bilbo Baggins' birthday. So I cast it on for that, and then I ripped the needles out of it and never touched it again. So I put that back on the needles, and I do want to work on it. So I maybe got like a couple rows on it, but there's the sock and another cute Charmed and Dangerous s'mores cupcake progress keeper. So those two socks, I think I'm going to be my alternating patterns of quick portable projects, because I'm now to the point on sweaters where they're not as portable. I'm sure YouTube is going to make a picture of me squinting at the sun because it picks the most hideous facial expression that I can possibly make. That is the thumbnail that it suggests. Do I know how to make my own thumbnail? No, I do not. So that's why the thumbnails are always crappy for my podcast. And I apologize, but you know, I can't do anything about it. Low-tech joys that you come here for. Then my Sime Tempestose sweater. We're gonna go with that. I have now done quite a bit of the body. I kind of need to try it on maybe after my next decrease, because I'm doing some waist shaping. I'm adding it to the pattern. It does not have waist shaping in it, but I like to add waist shaping most of the time. So this is a pattern by Knitting for Breakfast. It is knit out of Love Pyramis and Emeraldite held double by Plies and Hellhounds. The Emeraldite is on the Fig Lace base and the Love Pyramis is on the Isaac base. I only have 2 balls of each, and I do feel like the balls are getting a little small. I'm not sure why. I guess this lace must have eaten up more yardage than I thought it was going to. So that's the other reason I need to try it on, because I need to at least have enough to do a little cap sleeve on it. If that's all I can get out of it, that's okay. I knew I was going to be squeaking by, even doing a tee at all. But I think a little like ribbed cap sleeve would be fine because there's a lot going on this yoke. But I've done 3 sets of waist decreases. This is a charmed and dangerous kind of day because I've got my little carrot bunny. He's so cute. I love him. He's one of my favorite ones. So every Easter I make sure I'm using him. So I have that on there. So I really love it. I think it's a beautiful yoke. It's a really pretty pattern. Yeah, everything else just plain smooth sailing from here. Isaac does have a lot of yardage in the skeins, so I think I'll be okay. I feel like it has like over 450, at least 420 yards per ball. I feel like I've got a label in here. I should stop questioning myself. Do I? I know I was moving that label around because I wanted to keep track of it. Oh, I see it. Okay. It has 437, so I was wrong on both sides, but you know, I was giving you a good range. Yeah. So it's this one. Isaac 100% Superwash Polworth. I'm not sure she still dyes this base. I don't know. It's a really nice one though. I have quite a bit of yarn in that base. Yeah, so I'm very happy with my progress on that one. Need the waterless dog shampoo right there. I also have done some squares on my blanket, which I guess I haven't shared in a little bit. So it always sits here in my knitting space, and it's now big enough that I can work on it and use it as a blanket. It's very large. I'm knitting it for our king size bed. So this is the Coziest Memories pattern by Kemper Ray is the one I'm using. I think the difference is that it lines up your diagonals, and maybe the Cozy Memories blanket doesn't do that. I don't know. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm on my 13th row, and it's 26 squares across. So it's pretty big. So when I'm sitting, it can be, you know, up to here, and it's covering my feet. Mind you, I'm not a very tall person, but it's already very useful as a couch blanket. So since I've shared it last, oh, maybe I have more because I think I'm working on my 14th row because I counted from that side, but I have an extra row I'm starting on this way. And I do work in my ends as I go, so I don't start a new row until I've worked in the ends below it. So yeah, on this row, I have done, this is a Hedgehog Fibers Fool's Gold. This one is No Makers in Loki. This one is No Makers in Animal. I don't know what this one is, but somebody sent it to me. This is getting into the Advent from Lindsay, so I'm pretty sure they're Fangirl Fibers. There's this fun pink one. I feel like this one is People Mover. It's Fangirl Fibers People Mover. This one was from my friend Jessica. She said it's like a show colorway. I asked her about it because I thought it would be really cute socks for Josh. He likes those colors, but they were sold out, so I'm just kind of watching for that one. This is another one from Lindsay and another one from Lindsay. This one was in my stash. This one was also a little mini in stash. This is from the Yarn at Home Mom Advent calendar from a couple years ago. That's a Felici leftover from Jessica, another one from Jessica, and this one is from Lindsay. So, I have, you know, that many more to get to the end of the row, and I need to, I've got ends woven in there and there and there, So I can do 3 more squares, and then I have to stop and weave in ends before I can do any more squares, because I don't let myself work along a side with ends still hanging there, because it makes it weird, and then I'll just leave ends, and I don't want to do that, because this blanket, when I'm done with it, I don't want to be like, and now I will never use it because those ends will never get woven in. So I'm making myself weave them in as I go. I know myself. It's okay. All right, and then I try to knit a square every day if I can. I do it while I'm drinking my morning coffee and reading a book before I start working. And if I can't finish the square a day, I kind of catch up on the weekend. So I do have some I need to catch up on this weekend, because I did not do my square every day. I had some mornings where I had to get into work very early. Oh my God, this is really stuck. Sorry. All right. Then my last thing is a new cast on. So my husband asked me for another sweater. He loves his Gramps cardigan and wears it all the time, but he said, what I would love is to have one that's like this same weight, but closes all the way up. He said, ideally, I'd love to have this same exact sweater, but closing all the way up. I was not interested in modifying the Gramps in that way, because it is, like it's a back and forth. It's a cardigan with a shawl collar. If you don't know, it's a tin can knits pattern. It's really great. It's written for baby size up to like a 70 something inch chest. Yeah. So I made that for him in 2019, and he wears it constantly. That's like the main sweater that he has. Then I knit him a pullover 2 years ago for his birthday, kind of around Rhinebeck time. And it's a pattern by Maxim Sear. I've blanked it out because I said it so many times. Anyway, he likes that one, but he wants a cardigan that goes all the way, that can be buttoned all the way up to like, here-ish. So we kind of looked through stuff, looked at what yarn I had enough of. I had this yarn, which is Provincial Tweed from Knit Picks. I had bought it to make a blanket, the Coty blanket. Boy, that yarn, the needle got stuck in it, and now it's messed up ply up. Anyway, the Coty blanket by Anna Johanna. So I knew I had enough, because if I bought enough to make a big like couch blanket, it would be enough to make a sweater for him, because what is a sweater but a wearable blanket? So this is in the gray colorway, but it has these very nice mustard and eggplant flecks of tweed in it. There might be some brown as well. I think there's brown. I don't know. There's at least, yes, I see some brown. Okay, so there's some chocolate brown in there too. So anyway, he really, really liked this yarn. And it says it's a worsted, but it is, I would say, closer to a DK. So I would say light worsted at best. I knit the Gramps cardigan out of Barocco Vintage, which is a thicker worsted weight. Anyway, long story short, I decided to cast on the Garter Marler pattern by Stephen West, because I don't know if any of you have seen Stephen West in person, but he is a really tall, really big guy, and that is basically my husband. So I knew that it would go up to a size and probably have the right kind of proportions to fit him properly, because yeah, Josh is very much built like Stephen West. So anyway, that's always a good thing, because then you know that like it's not built for a really skinny dude, because sometimes the skinny dude stuff, it doesn't work for Josh because he has very big shoulders and kind of a big back and neck. So yeah, same with like the Maxim Sear pattern. I've met both of them in person, and they are also kind of big and tall like Josh. So anyway, I cast on for the 62-inch chest, I think. Yeah, and I don't remember what the size is. It's maybe the 2XL in the pattern. It might be numbers. Let's see. Now this has a big drooly spot on it because Ada was drooling on it while she was sleeping. It is, no, the 52-inch chest, which is a size 5, because Josh has, I think, a 46.5-inch chest or something like that. And so with the ease, that was how much ease I had in the Gramps cardigan. I did the 52-inch chest for finished measurements, and it fits him perfectly, and he said he wants the same kind of fit. So for those not familiar, this is the Gardner Marler pattern picture. It is intended to be something where you can use a whole bunch of scraps, and because it is knit in garter stitch, you can marl really nicely to make things blend together. But he only wants the one color, so it is an unmarled garter marler cardigan. So it does have short row shaping. It was actually quite interesting because in the pattern he calls them like shortcut rows. Basically you just don't do a wrap and turn. Or a German short row. You use decreases at the end. I can't talk today. I feel like I'm slurring my S's. They're very sibilant S's. So anywho, I've held up this yoke for a really long time. The one thing I'm concerned about is that I got gauge with a 7, which was great. I knit a gauge swatch, I washed it and blocked it, and it was bang on, which was awesome. The neck ribbing called for one size down in the pattern, a 6. However, Josh has said that his neck ribbing kind of stretches out on the other pullover I made for him. So I thought, well, I'll go down 2 sizes so it doesn't stretch out as much. But now it's kind of tight. So we're going to withhold judgment on whether it's going to be too tight or not. But if it is, I will just pick up all of these stitches, cut, snip one stitch and unpick it, and I'll just reknit the collar the other way with a 6 instead of a 5. However, it's really stretchy. I did not make a tight cast on. Like, I can stretch it a lot. Now, it's obviously going to be a cardigan. I have quite a slim neck, and he does not. He's got a big chonky neck. The other thing I could do is I could make the button band very wide to account for that. That's a possibility as well. So we're just going to withhold judgment, and we're going to do it, and we're going to see what it looks like when we wash and block it, because I know the garter stitch is going to relax some because it did in my swatch. And because it's knit back and forth, I knit my swatch back and forth, and it was great. And I made a bigger swatch than what it called for as well. So anyway, I like it. I like the shaping is nice, how it kind of blends in there. Cool. The tweed is really good. I think I'm going to go with some kind of chocolatey buttons. He wants bigger buttons because he said they're easier to manipulate. He doesn't want any smaller buttons than the ones on the Gramps cardigan. Those were vintage leather buttons that I bought at a yarn show, and I don't remember which one. I'm trying to picture it. I feel like I bought them at New England Fiber Festival of New England, or NEF. because the picture I have in my brain is of that building. It's in like one of the big buildings where the Big E is held. If any of you are from the Northeast or have traveled in New England, there is a big fair for all of the New England states called the Big E, and each state has a building that represents it. So it's in those buildings. Just one of them. But it's a really nice show. If you ever get a chance to go, the Fiber Festival of New England is very nice. Not as crowded as Rhinebeck. It is usually the first weekend in November, and the booths are really big and open. The aisles are very wide, so it's very accessible for wheelchairs. It's very flat flooring, and there's a lot of space. So like the openings to the booths are very large versus like Rhinebeck, they kind of really pack you in. And because those are in like barns for livestock, it feels like they're not, it sucks. When I was walking around with my friends Liz and Sue, Liz had like a balloon on her wheelchair so we could find her and so people could see her. It was a great idea. Like she got a Mylar, I think it was a star balloon. I can't remember, but that was very nice to be able to find her, that we could see the balloon and stuff. But yeah, Rhinebeck's kind of atrocious to get around in, but Fiber Festival of New England is very nice. Way more open. Oh, that was a tangent. Anyway, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get some buttons, maybe at Fiber Festival of New England this year. We'll see. I think I have 10 balls of this. It is a yarn that they still carry, so if I had to get more, I could, but I would be really surprised if I needed more than that. Because like I said, it was supposed to be enough for a very large blanket. We'll see. We'll see. That is everything I've been knitting on. In terms of cast-ons, I will bring the yarn. Okay. So for a cast-on, I was talking about I wanted to do a summer tee. Sorry, I'm cleaning some of the fur off here. So the pattern I want to cast on is the Sofferine pattern by Audrey Borrego, and I'm going to use these two colors. I don't think I put, nope, I didn't put the tag in. These were sent to me as a gift from Bente. Oh, God. I don't remember the name of her podcast. I'm so sorry, Bente. Anyway, she used to be like Arctic Crafts. And she was a yarn dyer. She does not dye yarn anymore. That's going to bother me. The Epilogue Lady. The Epilogue Lady. I'm like, it's something about pausing or after things. Yeah, the Epilogue Lady. So she sent me these two skeins in the gift exchange package that we did. She also sent me some really cute like Norwegian postcards and some candies and stuff like that. But this colorway is Plum Jam, and I don't remember what this colorway is. They're a singles base, so I think they'll be really good for a summer top. The Sofferine sweater is a V-neck, and it can be either a tank or a tee. It has the instructions for both. Unfortunately, it's not super size inclusive. Like I said, Audrey Borrego has stopped designing now. But her designs are all still up on Ravelry. Many of her patterns are pretty size inclusive, but this one only goes up to, I think, a 46-inch chest. So I'm actually at the top of that size range. I wear a size 40, but that's because I like negative ease, but I have a 44-inch bust. So if I were wanting to have some positive ease, I would be at the top of that size range, which is obviously not super size inclusive. But all her patterns are free on Ravelry still, because even though she stopped designing, she did leave them up and did not take any of them down. Most of her stuff is more kind of accessories, but she does have quite a few sweaters. So I think this was one of her maybe earlier designs, because like I said, it's not as size inclusive as the other ones. So anyway, I think these will be really pretty together as a striped tank, with this one kind of being the dominant for, you know, up by the neck, because I think cranberry is a better color for me than this gold. But it's a really nice contrast. So that's what I'm going to do with these, because they've been in my stash for a while and they deserve to be something. I think they're like 400 something yards a piece. So I couldn't make anything more than a tank, or maybe like a real small cap sleeve tee. So we'll see what happens there. But that's the plan for those. And then a completely unrelated to knitting acquisition that finally came, these have been on order for a while, is the Stardew Valley like LP collection. So I got all of the Stardew Valley soundtrack on vinyl. Gabby had told me about this and I was like, I need this in my life. This is literally the reason that I went and bought a new record player, aside from the fact that I also wanted to listen to my records from when I was a kid. And we had been going to Hex Thing and Things, and they have so much vinyl there, like so much. And yeah, so it finally came. So I love the art on the front of it. I got it from fangamer.com. This artwork and design is by Carrie Fry. So there's one album for each season, and it tells you what all the songs are. And then in addition to it, if you buy the full vinyl collection, you get the full digital soundtrack as a free download. So I also have all of the digital soundtrack as well. But then, like, each one has just adorable cover art. Like, look at this. These, all the spring vegetables and fruits and stuff that you can grow. And then on the inside, you can see, like, they've got these illustrations of Junimos. And those are the, I'm sure there's a name for it, but, like, the central, like, stickery thing on the vinyl. So you can tell which side it is by the art, and then you can match it to the names of the songs. But look at that. Oh my God. It's really good, and it sounds amazing. Like, they recorded it and did the imprinting on the vinyl on, like, a vintage machine. So it sounds really good. So I was listening to this spring one while I was baking a cake, and it just made me so happy. It was already brought me so much joy. So that's the spring one. The summer one is like that. The fall one. Oh, look at that pumpkin. So good. And then the winter one, like a little sleeping Junimo. It's so cute. I love it so much. I'm very, very happy I got it. And then they had a second album that I have not listened to yet. I also haven't listened to fall or winter yet. I've only listened to the spring and summer. The other one is the 1.4 and 1.5 soundtrack. Fur all over me. Which is all the Ginger Island expansion. So you've got the other things you can get in Ginger Island. This beautiful Monstera leaf. And there's a lot of stuff with parrots in the Ginger Island expansion. Yeah, so I'm really excited. I think this one is yellow, a yellow LP. So yeah, that was my non-yarn related acquisition, but I really, really am excited about it. And yeah, so I don't have much else to share in way of fiber stuff. We started all of our seeds. So this is our first year using the greenhouse. We've planted all of the tomatoes, squash, cucumbers. We're going to try to grow melons inside the greenhouse this year. And peas is the other thing. We already had onions that we started in the house. So those have now moved out into the greenhouse. And then last weekend, while Josh was planting all of the seeds, I was repotting indoor plants because there were many of them that kind of needed to have the dirt swapped out. And then we put all of that dirt into our compost. So yeah, many of my plants have been refreshed. And I think I have a couple more to do. I have this big one to do that sits in the middle of my table right behind you. The Christmas cactus needs to be redone. The Monstera needs to be redone, but that is a big chonker of a tree, and I need it to just I need to be able to lay it out on the ground, and it's not warm enough yet to do that. So that's going to be more of a late spring project when it is warmer outside, and then I will just hose down all of the roots and stuff and give it a good trim. There's a baby one in there that I want to separate into its own pot because it's probably not getting enough space to grow a really strong root system. Yeah, that's all I've got for you guys this week. So yeah, what are you guys working on? What kinds of fun things are you watching? Always up for some podcast recommendations, pattern recommendations, yarn recommendations. Just love to hear about what everybody is doing. And yeah, I hope everyone is doing well, keeping safe, keeping involved. And until next time, I hope you all get to do some things that you love. And I will talk to you then.